Oop, there it is. Hello, cupcakes. Welcome back to the stream.
Hello.
Waiting for that hello. We got Stacy's in the booth, Flick in the booth, Ratty B in the booth. How y'all doing?
Are we live? Is it working?
I think so. I think I hit the right button. It's been a long day. I don't know. Chat, let us know. Are we live? Can you hear us? Or are we just talking into the void here? Lost Soul throwing down a booth. Sounds like somebody was at the last stream. Pippi, thank you for being a first-time chatter today. Flick, wherever you are in the world, thank you for subscribing, throwing down that tier 1 sub. Subscribe for 8 months. How are you doing today, Flick?
I am doing well. I'm super excited to see this marketplace come into fruition, and so happy that we're going to get to talk about it today.
Let's go. I love to hear that. Streamer already off to a bad start, covering up the Twitch redemptions. I'm sorry about that, but at least we got Wagdy in there for a second with that hoop. Pippi, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Hoop, there it is. Stacy's, how are you doing today? The other bunny in the booth.
I'm doing so great, Rat. I am so proud of all the work that you two lovely bunnies did on this marketplace. And I am ready to liberate our people right now from the evil clutches of centralized ownership. Let's get it going.
Let's go. Let's go. Pippi throwing down, what is that, 5 gift subs after subbing themselves to the channel. We got a gifted sub to Leo Sal. We got a gifted sub to Wagdy, gifted sub to Scuzzrat, Crip Toledo, the Miss Win. Big time hoops. Getting it started. You love to see it. Thank you so much for coming out to Bunny University. Number 5, Scuzzrat. See you there in the chat. Enjoy your new subscription. Brookhawk, love to see you. Thanks for coming out. Thank you for sharing the live stream. I miss you dearly from seeing you a year ago in NFT NYC. So good to see everybody. Lost Soul.
Before we get started, I need you bunnies to do us a very special favor because I know you're all very good people. And so I need you to go to Twitter and tell all your friends what we're doing right now. Don't let them miss it, because if you do, then they're going to be caught in the crutches of the evil centralized marketplaces forever. We will have to leave them behind. And you know what we say, no man left behind. So head to Twitter, tweet out this link, and get your friends in here because you love them and you want to be a good friend.
I love being a good friend. I'm glad you do too. Flick, I assume that you love being a good friend. You've been a great friend to us. How do you feel about retweeting that link?
I'm doing it now. No bunny left behind.
No bunny left behind. You'll love to hear it and see it. They're going to be left with their pants down in the dust. You are right, Scuzzrat, and I love seeing that name come in now. Your chat's coming in with that subscriber little badge up at the top. No bunny. Exactly. All right, let's talk about not just what we're doing today, but we'll give a quick intro into what Bunny University is if this is your first time joining us. And I know for some of you it is, and we're so glad that you're here. First off, my name is Rat Benatar. Of course, we have Crypto Stacy's here, the founder, the artist, the dreamer, the creator of Honeys. We also have, for the very first time ever, our guest professor, highly esteemed. You know him as Flick the Dev from the Honeys VIP collection, Flick. So we are thrilled to be here. Bunny University is a series that the Honeys The Honeys brand runs regularly. I'd say maybe once a month, usually every 6 weeks or so. We run a free educational class on a variety of different Web3 topics, some of which are user requested and submitted. Some of them are just things that we think are interesting. And really, the deal here is it's not just that we want to get in front of the mic, in front of the camera, and talk to y'all, even though we love that. What we're really trying to do here is provide you with the skills, the tools, the resources, the knowledge that you need in order to further your development, further your business, your craft in the Web3 space. After every single class, we provide you with a step-by-step checklist on how to accomplish whatever task we're talking about for that particular class. And as long as you can fill out that checklist and show to Stacy's and myself that you've gone ahead and done the darn thing, we will actually provide you with a certificate of completion, an NFT that we will send to you that you can wear proudly as a badge on your Web3 resume to say, hey, I know how to do this. I know how to launch my own NFT marketplace. I know how to set up my own minting site. I know how to launch my own NFT collection. I know what's up with AI. So that way you can take that and apply it to whatever you're trying to do in Web3 to further, your passion. Get a new job, make some money. That's what we're trying to do. We want to get you paid, and we want to certify that you know how to do these things exactly. Make that Skrilla. So that's what this is all about. So everything that we cover here, if we move too fast, if you feel like you missed something, don't worry, because there are two things. Number one, this class will be recorded. It will be left in the archives of forever on the internet, both here on Twitch and on YouTube. Number two, as I said, all of the documents, all of the resources that you need will be made available immediately after the class. So that way you can walk through everything for yourself. And actually, third, a bonus thing, it will be available on our website, honeys.io, under the Bunny University section, where you can actually preview all of the other Bunny University classes that we've had today. And so today we have a very special, timely subject. We're going to be talking about how to launch your own NFT marketplace. Stacy's, are you ready? Flick, are you ready? Chat, are you ready to get started?
I'm ready. We see some in the chat if you're ready for this knowledge bomb.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right, chat. I'm going to be taking us back to school with a little slideshow action. This is we're not quite going back to PowerPoint. This is Google Slides. We're in like 2004, 2005 era. We're ready to go. So follow along with me if you will. And of course, if any questions come up, please drop them in the chat. Don't be afraid to break the flow, break our conversation. It's a good thing if you have a question, so that way we can get it answered. And Brookhawk already asking for the next slide. All right, I won't keep you waiting, Brookhawk. Let's go. Here we go. I'm going to hit the button. Next slide. Let's talk about what we're doing today in the class. My clicker is right here for you. Right here. Ooh, and I love you from Scuzzrat. Thank you. Clicky clack. All right. Here's what we're going to be covering today in Bunny University. We are going to be talking about how the Honeys team was able to create buy.honeys.io in record time. That, of course, is our brand new marketplace. We're going to be talking about how you can rethink what an NFT marketplace can look like and operate. We're going to show you ways that you can actually take back control over your business model, and how you wish to run your project. We're going to show you how you can custom fit your project's NFT market to cater to your specific audience. This is not a one-size-fits-all space. It's good business to be able to understand who your audience is and actually cater your message to them. We'll show you how to do that. Of course, we'll give you a brief overview of the tools we'll be using today before actually demoing them live. And then, of course, the finale will be the actual walkthrough, at which point it is open Q&A. After this class, you will know how to launch your own custom marketplace with no code necessary. And that is a serious statement. You will actually be shocked how quickly this whole procedure goes. You get to cater to your specific audience through a well-branded marketplace with a purposeful focus. That way you are actually speaking directly to them rather than just potentially being lost in the void of tens of thousands of other projects. And you will be decreasing your dependence on marketplaces like OpenSea, like Blur, and decrease your beholden to them and the decisions that they make with little input from the creators. Now, before we jump in, if you are watching this live, if you are watching this after we've been live on YouTube, maybe, please follow, subscribe on Twitch, follow us on Twitter, join the Honeys Discord. We can answer any questions that you have. We're happy to help. We also, if you do end up creating your own marketplace, we're here to help you share it. And so please, it goes a long way if you follow us on these different platforms, engage in the conversation, and we'd love to chat with you. So I think that there's no better place to get started than by just showing you quickly, in case you missed it, in case you live under a rock, what Buy Honeys IO actually looks like. So that way we can show you how to get started on the path to making your own version of this marketplace. And so let's take a look. Now, everything that I'm showing you here on our own custom marketplace that we've built, this got done in about a day and a half. And most of this was just a lot of extra customization as I'm kind of fumbling around going through it. All of this stuff is genuinely super easy to set up. For certain things, yeah, you'll need a little bit of developer experience. You need to know a little bit of customization, but for the most part, all of this is super, super quick to set up. This is what the Honeys new NFT marketplace looks like. Right off the bat, you'll see it looks nothing like OpenSea or Blur or anything like that. And why should it? Because this is for the Honeys brand and all of our NFT collections. We don't care about what's going on over in other different collections. We want to speak to our audience. And so we were able to make our own marketplace here and show off some of our most featured collections, and not only make them very accessible and easy to find and easy to browse through, but also include, all the really important stuff. What do you, the potential owner, the prospective buyer, what do you receive? What do you get out of this deal by owning some of these tokens? We're able to just put that right up front. We're able to highlight whatever specific collections we want here. We're able to additionally include just all of the other collections that are related to Honeys, so that way you get more of a full picture of what Honeys is actually about. So for right now, we really just have our three collections here, the Honeys 10K collection, Honeys OGs, and the Hoop Scouts collection. But that can get expanded as much as we want. And if you click the drop down, you get to see even more collections that we have here, like Hoop Merch and Stacy's Candy Shop and things like that. All of this will look very familiar to you if you actually browse through some of these collections. Like if I want to check out what's going on at Honeys, I get to see a very, very familiar looking interface. I get to browse by the different filters that I love. Over here on the left, I get to see which of these items came from which marketplace, like either SudoSwap here or OpenSea here, or Blur will be in here somewhere. I get to see all of the different stats that are associated with this specific collection. And then I get to have all of the different fun features that a lot of leading marketplaces have. So if I'm really feeling the honeys collection, I can hit this big, gorgeous sweep button over here on the right. I got to connect my wallet, make sure that that's a go. There we go. And I can just look how easy it is to just drag that slider over. And, who knows? Maybe I am trying to throw down 34 honey sweep. I can do that super easy. And there's this really nice buy button here for me. But really, it's got like, it's a marketplace that looks familiar to people, but it's also got that Honey's touch with the Honey's fonts, Honey's colors. And I get to just quickly add certain things to my cart. If I so choose, I can click that cart, check out. It works like a normal e-commerce website that is branded towards the Honey's team. So it's really intuitive for people that are maybe just joining your brand or your community for the very first time. But they also immediately get to have that sense of like, oh, okay, this is the look, this is the aesthetic, this is the feel of this community, and I know what I'm getting into. Finally, you have this make a collection offer button here. You can either just make a general collection offer, or you can make it specific to a given attribute. All of that stuff is totally built in for you. You can even, if you have to, if I get really ambitious, I want to make a 50 ETH offer. I can even just swap my ETH right here for me with this button here. So all of those things that are included in a place like OpenSea, or even some cases like the MetaMask extension, all of those features are immediately built in for you if you are looking to buy. And then on the holding side, I get to see all of my different tokens that I have in my portfolio across all 6 of these collections here, and can, I can either view them, or I can click to list one for sale. I can do all the same stuff, which we'll get into in just a moment. But at the end of the day, the important thing is it is a familiar enough looking marketplace that you're not going to isolate different people and different prospective buyers from showing them something super brand new, while also keeping it very specific and branded and on message for your community, for your brand. So that way you can actually talk to these people like human beings rather than just throwing them out to the wolves and hoping that they find their place in OpenSea. So that's a quick overview of the brand new Honey's marketplace and what we're helping to show you how to build today. Stacy's and Flick, I don't know if you have any other comments or want to talk about any other features that I may have missed before we move on, but feel free to jump in if you do.
Sure. So I just to I guess maybe preface this whole demo and just sort of like provide a little context. So all of this right here is provided by a Web3 startup called Reservoir Tools, and they have a VC model that, or a business dev model that I love, which is let's just get some money and make a bunch of open source and give away everything for free and decide later how we'll actually make money. And their actual target with the tooling that they're making is actually aimed at people that are wanting to make marketplace bots. The back end for this website is built on top of their API that they're trying to make money selling it to people so that they can make like NFT arbitrage bots, essentially. But they've been able to get really good traction because they have these tools that can work across all the different marketplaces to be able to, because it's just React and Next.js and all these great open source tools, be able to provide this kind of product for anyone to use. It's all open source, and anyone can take it. And if you are of the more developer inclined, you can make whatever changes you want. It is fully 100% customizable. The sky is the limit.
Yeah, and that's a really awesome thing that you pointed out, because first of all, I'm personally still getting more familiar with reservoir tools and what they're all about. So I was less familiar with that. But one of the things that I definitely wanted to point out as we go through this class is just that versatility in what kind of market you can create, because like we're going to be showing you more specifically on, hey, if you have a collection or two or three collections, this is how you can really highlight them and speak to them all in one place. However, if you are more on a trader side, if you are just somebody who you check NFT prices every 15 minutes, you're checking, the crypto market every 15 minutes, there's no reason that you can't just make a trending marketplace for, let's say, all of the different collections that you are a part of, and just keep it for yourself. So that way you can constantly monitor, what are these different projects doing? What's the floor price at? What's the volume looking like? Are things up for this project? Are they down? It is such a versatile platform. They have such a versatile template here for you to build off of, that you can really just do whatever makes most sense for you, and what you're looking for. So why build the thing? Why, like, one of the questions that comes up all the time when we actually go ahead and try to build a custom marketplace. One of the first questions is why actually build this? Well, number one, we're looking to decrease our reliance from platforms like OpenSea. We could go on and on about this conversation. I'll keep it brief here. But it's not very dissimilar from all of the questions that we've had in the last couple of years around Web 2 big tech. Like, hey, like, why am I just freely giving why am I doing all the work to generate business and views and clicks for platforms like Facebook, like Google, like TikTok, and I'm seeing so little money? It's kind of a similar analogy to, Web3 and being able to kind of wean ourselves off of the reliance off these platforms. OpenSea in particular has made a couple different things challenging for the Honeys community in the last week. And of course, many other communities, they tend to make changes just kind of on a whim, often without talking to creators. And we're targeting OpenSea here, but it's really just, OpenSea is just kind of just one example of some of these bigger platforms that really like kind of represent some of the things that we've been trying to get away from in Web 2. So we're decreasing our reliance on these platforms. Doesn't mean we're going to cut them out entirely from our lives. We're just trying to decrease the reliance on them to be successful. Another big reason is we get to retain control over the business model that we've chosen. Now, royalties on NFT sales is an explosive topic. Again, something we could argue and debate and go back and forth on. We're not making the stance here that royalties are necessary 100% of the time, or royalties are not necessary 100% of the time. What we're saying is, hey, if you're building a business and you have a business model in mind for how you'd like to run things, being able to understand how to create a custom marketplace is going to allow you, as the founder, as the creator, as the community manager, to be able to advocate and retain control over these things that you are trying to do. Another big reason is so that way we can cater to our audience. If you look at any collection on OpenSea, they all kind of follow that same format where you get maybe this much text to actually say what your project is about. Most people aren't even going to click that little see more button. Being able to actually speak to, hey, like, if you get this thing, like, you're going to get all these benefits. It's 10 different benefits that you get from being a part of this community. Like, it's really difficult to be able to communicate that effectively on platforms like OpenSea and Blur. And also, like, not everybody that is coming to your community may have that. Maybe they don't have that like quick flip thing in mind. Maybe they're looking for a long-term community to become a part of, to grow with, to meet people in. And so whether you are on, the high pace, quick flip side of things, or if you are on the, sort of long-term approach and you are looking to build, you have a 3, 5, 10-year plan of how to do things, just the option to be able to customize your messaging to your audience and actually speak to them and develop that ability to talk to people in the way that you're hoping to talk to them is huge. And of course, branding and consolidation of information, which kind of goes in with that same thing, which is, Honey's in particular has, I just showed on the website, we have 6 different collections that are highlighted, and that doesn't even cover every single one of them. We have different collections for different reasons. Some are on, at least one is on Polygon. We have merchandise. We have, multiple collections on Ethereum. We have the Hoop Scouts collection, which is a community-owned collection, and it's really, really, really difficult to be able to convey, here's how you go from collection A to collection B to collection C on a platform like OpenSea. Even on Twitter, even on Discord, it can be difficult to communicate that message. So being able to have the roadmap or the connecting the dots from point A to point B to point C at the same exact place where people are picking up NFTs from within that community, like it's I can already tell it's going to be such a huge thing for us. And so finally, people ask about when we talk about creating this custom marketplace, well, couldn't that lead to less trading volume? Well, here's the thing. Your marketplace does not necessarily have to compete with other marketplaces. We're not showing you this so that way you can go, hey, you know what, OpenSea, like, I'm totally done with you. I'm never going to even look at your platform ever again. It's important to keep up with other marketplaces and see where your audience is and learn from that. But rather, your marketplace can be complementary, if not be shown as an example to people as why people should be coming to your marketplace rather than going to these, platforms like OpenSea. And in fact, having a dedicated hub that actually explains, here's what the team is about. Here's what our benefits are. Here's our roadmap. Here's our, next 3 years that we're thinking about, honestly, is going to grow your audience more sustainably than, just leaving it up to somewhat random chance and hoping that someday, maybe you show up on that OpenSea front page and a handful of people pick things up. The final question that I've seen come up the most about launching a custom marketplace is people say, well, they might not trust my marketplace maybe the way that they do trust OpenSea in terms of blockchain security and things like that. What I'd say to that is your custom marketplace doesn't have any specific contract that goes with it. You're not asking people to sign a specific transaction just because they just because you say it's a good thing to do. Reservoir Tools, which is what we'll get into and how to build this thing, is really just aggregating all the different contracts for you, so that way you can present it in an organized fashion for your potential buyers and these traders and things like that. And everything that your buyers would be potentially looking at, is totally traceable and verifiable. Like if you go to actually like list something for sale, for example, you can actually, before you ever have to sign anything, going through the steps of doing something like that will take you through the process to show you, hey, here's the contract you're interacting with. And you can go ahead and click on the button to see the contract details. Click that link that takes you to Etherscan. You can go ahead and either yourself or, point it out to your prospective buyers that, hey, if you want to look at all the details, you are more than welcome. Like, we encourage you to do that, because what you're going to find is that everything is verified. It's trusted. Again, you are interacting, you as the buyer, you are interacting with the individual NFT contracts and not necessarily, some random Honey's marketplace contract that suddenly popped up out of nowhere. So,
And so we had a question coming from Brooke Hogg. I can't tell if this is a joke question or a real question. It said, what is the option to list on *** on Reservoir? What contract is that?
Yeah, I can take this one. So the Reservoir Tools. So just backing up, OpenSea, their latest version of their marketplace contract is called Seaport, and it's been through a couple of versions now. And they have open sourced Seaport. So it used to be for a long time that, and this is something that OpenSea did right, because for a long time OpenSea had an unverified contract as their marketplace contract. No one could really see how it worked, and that's just like how it was for a very long time. Seaport is a lot different. It's a fully verified contract. It's open source. There's a lot of documentation on it, and anyone can build a marketplace on top of Seaport. You just pick what they call a conduit, which is like a channel for your listings, and then anyone can create listings for any kind of token pair, whether it's ERC20 to ERC721 to 1155. You can create any kind of listing for any kind of pair of tokens that you can dream up. And then when you're making these signatures, that's like your offer to buy or offer to sell. So Reservoir Tools, and even Blur is doing this as well, are building parts of their building their marketplace on top of Seaport. So when you go to OpenSea and get your approval to be able to trade on Seaport, which is OpenSea's contract, you can also now immediately start trading your NFTs on Reservoir Tools as well, because it's working on the exact same contract.
absolutely.
I'm
Thank
so
you,
glad
Flick.
I have these two smart people here with me. It's going great.
All right, final segment. Thank you for that great question, by the way, Brooke Hawk. All right, final segment before we start to get into it. Just a quick overview of the tools of the trade that you're going to need. Again, all of this stuff is going to be in the course syllabus that we have for you immediately after the class. I'll even show it to you in a second, because we're going to actually use it to walk through it together. So just a couple things that you'll be using in order to do this. Vercel. So if you're not familiar with Vercel, kind of the main thing that you need to know about it is It's a service that helps you launch the actual website that you're building here. And even if you don't own a custom web domain, they will give you one that you can actually play around with and test and check out to your heart's content until you are ready to actually put it on your own official domain. GitHub, I imagine most of us have heard of GitHub. This is basically the place where we are going to, effectively take like a template, like a code template, and be able to customize it to our own liking, to our own marketplace. So that's where we're actually going to get our start, and eventually store your own code. And of course, as Flick has been talking about, Reservoir Tools, which one of the things that they do is they aggregate marketplace data from sources like OpenSea, LooksRare, etc., and they help populate data and communicate trading activity across these different platforms. And that's really like the bread and butter underneath this whole thing, and it's what's going to help kind of complete the picture. And again, after class, document will be available with all of these links. Don't have to write anything down or screenshot anything. All of this information will be available immediately after class. So, any final questions before we jump into our actual demo? I am telling you right now, chat, you will be shocked at how quickly and easily this whole thing goes, all with no code necessary, at least to get started. So any questions, chat, any final comments from the booth before we move into the actual live demo?
Yes, Guzrat wanted to know, pizza? Question mark.
Yes. The answer is yes. Just later.
Always.
Yeah, Flick knows. All right. So let's get into it. So again, chat, we're trying to make this as easy as possible for you. So I'll put my money where my mouth is. I made the checklist for actually completing the course and putting the course syllabus together. I'm going to use it myself to complete this project. And so that way, by the time you actually go ahead and do this for yourself, you'll be able to walk through the steps side by side and see just how easy it is. Honestly, half the work is just signing up for a couple accounts from a couple of these different services that we just talked about that maybe you don't already have accounts for. So let's take a look. So just for your knowledge, I kind of broke this apart into two different sections. I'm not going to be spending time on part one of the assessment here. Excuse me. Which is really just trying to make sure that you understand all the intricacies of how things work and, why you're doing this and why it might be a good thing and how all these different items work together. Part two is where we're actually going to demo the project and show you how it all works. So let's go through it. So step one, I've created my free Vercel account. Again, Vercel is going to be the service that actually takes care of launching your website, so that way you can take it from just something that is on your own personal local computer and actually making it publicly accessible. There are links in here in the document that take you right to the sign up page, so that way you can sign up for a free Vercel account. So we have that. I've created my free GitHub account. Again, totally free. It's just a means of being able to host different, if you want to call them code bases, the repositories, so that way you can, kind of have all the code for a given project in a given space, and also be able to more easily access everything else that is out there for you, because there's a lot of open source software out there for you to get started from. I've created my free Reservoir Tools account. That's a big one. Again, Reservoir Tools is one of the biggest pieces of this puzzle that helps us aggregate all of the information helps us be able to actually put all this stuff together. And again, this link here actually allows you to sign up for free, just like all these other things, very, very quickly, and get your Reservoir Tools account. Step 4, I've generated my free Reservoir Tools API key. Might sound scary if you don't know what an API key is. I assure you, it's not. It is super simple. In my Reservoir account, I am placed right here, and today I want to make a brand new app, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to say this is the Bunny University Marketplace app. What network am I launching this on? I'm launching it on Ethereum mainnet. I'm going to click Create App. And in just a second, there it is. It's going to give me my API key. We'll hold on to that for just a second. I'm going to repeat basically that same exact process for a final service here called Alchemy. I can visit Alchemy again. It even looks the same as Reservoir Tools. Sign up for a free account. I'm going to do the same thing, generate a free API key right now. And I'm going to call this again, Bunny University Marketplace. I'm lazy. I'll make the description the same as the name. What chain am I on? Ethereum. I'm on mainnet. I'm going to hit Create App, and immediately my API key is available. If you're not familiar with what this thing is, it's basically your ability to talk back and forth with these different services. So that way you're able to leverage the information that they have in order to make your marketplace work. All right. So once we have all of our housekeeping in order, we got our account set up, we got our keys at the ready. Now's when we actually take the first big action. So part of what makes this whole process so stinking easy is that we're not starting from scratch. We are really just taking what has already been built for us as a template and just tweaking the knobs, just turning the knobs, pulling some levers, not too many levers, in order to make sure that it works appropriately for what we're trying to do here. So the term for this, when you are looking at the GitHub repo repository, is you are forking that repository, which basically means, hey, I love what you did here. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to take it over here for myself. I'm going to put my own little spin on it. So that's what we have to do. So I'm going to go to the Reservoir repository. I'm already logged into my GitHub account. And so I'm going to find this nice fork button up here. And even if I hover over it, it tells me what I'm doing. I am forking my own copy of basically this code base. Yes, get forked. Thank you, Stacy's. So as soon as I click that, basically what it's going to do is allow me to, set this up and name it. So that way it's in my own GitHub account. And so I'm going to call this, surprise, surprise, Bunny University Marketplace V1. I'm going to hit create fork. And in just a few seconds, I will have an exact replica, basically, of everything that Reservoir Tools already did for me. So that way I can start to build off of it myself. Now, here's hopefully where I know we talked about like a lot of different services, and if you are unfamiliar with development processes and unfamiliar with GitHub in general, this next step I think is going to help make a lot of sense in what we're doing, because it's kind of a converging of a couple different projects we've talked about. The next step is I actually went ahead and created the marketplace inside of Vercel. This is So incredibly easy. So in my Vercel account, it's already linked up to my GitHub account. So it already knows other websites that I've launched. It's already familiar with all the different projects that I'm working on in my GitHub account. Check this out. If I want to take, let's see, where did my tab go? Here it is. If I want to take this whole, repository filled with all this code, and actually turn it into a website, it is unbelievably easy how to actually do that. I can go into Vercel. I can import. Wait. Yeah. Do I have to do that? Can I search? No, it doesn't have force. Okay. Sorry about that. I can copy the URL of my GitHub repository that I now have. I can click on import third party, paste in the URL, hit continue, and I can say, this is going to be Bunny University Marketplace, and hit create. And so what this is really doing is it is effectively linking. I'm sure Flick can probably explain it better than I can from the technical side point. But basically what this is doing is it is taking all of the code that you have in your GitHub account and putting it together, compiling it all so that way it's actually like a human readable, human viewable website with the URL that you can visit. So that way it actually it takes all of the code that you have and makes it so that way you can click a link and go view it on a website. And so that'll take about maybe another minute and a half to go ahead and do all that.
No, that is correct. I have nothing else to add to your completely accurate statement.
Excellent. One of the running jokes I have with Stacy's and Flick is that I am still pretending to be a web developer. I know just enough to be dangerous, but I don't know enough where if I run into something that I don't know how to solve it, sometimes it can totally sideline me. So when I get the thumbs up from Flick, it's a pretty big deal for me.
No. And I have to say this all the time. You are completely a web dev.
Excellent. Time to update my LinkedIn profile. Is a web dev. We got a lot of, this is very expected, and I was hoping for this. I'm glad you came through for me, chat. We got a lot of fork jokes, people asking if they can go fork themselves, if they can fork a third party, getting told fork you. Thank you for coming through, chat, on what I knew was going to happen. So let's take a look. We bought ourselves enough time so that way Vercel could do its thing. And here's where the magic happens. All I did was I clicked a few buttons, I copied a URL, I hit paste, I put it into Vercel, I gave it a name, and now all of a sudden I have this brand new thing called Bunny University Marketplace, and I can view the Git repository just here, where I can go ahead and visit the website. And so already that took maybe 10 minutes. And a lot of that is fluff and me trying to be funny and making small talk. I already have a fully working marketplace. This is an actual aggregation of all of the same collections that you might see in a place like OpenSea. You can connect your wallet. you can actually go through these different collections, check them out. Sure looks partly like the Honey's marketplace. That's because it already is. If you want to stop there, then you just made your own marketplace. You can browse this to your heart's content. Um, the whole thing is automatically done, and the URL, is a URL that Vercel gives me, so that way I can visit that at any time. So that is the power of GitHub and Vercel working together to make your life easy. But we're not going to just stop there. So, okay. So created my Vercel account, created my GitHub account, created my Reservoir Tools account, created my Alchemy account, forked the repository. We got forked, ladies and gentlemen. We created the marketplace project inside of Vercel. Now we got to deal with this messy thing called environment variables. So let's talk about environment variables. Again, all of this documentation is going to be here inside of this. So if I'm clicking around links and you are wondering where I'm going, where I'm headed, thinking I'm moving too fast, don't stress. It's all here. We're always here to answer questions for you. But I'm going to be referencing some of Reservoir Tools' information. So basically, the way that this works is Reservoir Tools went ahead and made this broad template for you, so that way you can, use that as a starting base, as a template to build off of, and that's exactly what we've done. The other really cool thing that they've done is they made it super, super easy to customize all of the different aspects of that marketplace, and that's really like the second final half of everything that we're doing here today. We're not going to get into exactly, we're not going to have a long technical discussion on what environment variables are. However, for the purpose of today's class, really what you need to know is just think about them as, like math variables, like, hey, everything that I need, solves for, or is pointing to X, and I just got to fill in what X is. And so I'm going to show you how to do this. And this is what is going to take us from just by default displaying every single collection basically that ever existed, and turning it into the colors that match your brand, and the collections that you care about. So that way, and the imagery and the branding that makes it specific to your collection. So again, by default, it's just going to aggregate all of the different NFT collections that are out there, and you might see something similar on a place like OpenSea. And that's all done through something called environment variables. And the cool part is if you are not a developer natively and you need to, and if you're cautious about getting into that realm, you do not need to know how to read the code in order to set this up. You don't need to open up terminal at all. You can just plug and play. So we'll look at how to do that. So in here, in our step-by-step instructions, we have this page here that says, I have located the necessary environment variables to set up from Reservoir Tools documentation that I'm going to place inside Vercel. And this is the page that we are linking to in our documentation. So there are a handful of these things called environment variables, which again are just kind of like your means of customizing things. And all we're really going to do is copy these into Vercel and just make whatever changes that we see fit. So there are a couple of different things here that we are going to copy and paste verbatim, if I'm able to do that. There we go. And so I'm just going to go Again, in Vercel, I go to settings, environment variables, and I have this nice thing here, and I'm just going to go to town on copying and pasting some of these different environment variables to really just make sure that my site functions the way that I want it to. Basically, what I'm doing here is I'm making sure that once this site is up and running the way that I want it to, first off, that I can communicate with these different platforms. So Reservoir API key from a few minutes ago, that's going to come into play right about now. And I'm going to copy that key that I created in Reservoir Tools. And I'm going to blam, paste it right in there. Public Alchemy ID. Guess what? Blam again. I'm going to grab my key, put it in there. We're going to keep going on adding things. It'll even tell you like which environment variables you are setting up. So of course you have to set up the connection to your other third-party tools and work your API keys. Then your next thing is a little bit more about branding. What are you actually calling this thing? What is the source icon? So source ID, we're going to call it Bunny University Marketplace. Source icon. You can grab any hosted URL of your logo that you like. For now, I'm just going to throw in the example. And then here comes the fun part. Here is where we actually get to dictate which collections are being shown in our marketplace. And I'll do you one more. You actually have two options here, which let's take a look at the doc. And we have a step on here. The very next step is I have configured my marketplace to use a specific collection or set of collections. So if you are somebody who, if you are a project creator, a founder, and you just have one main collection, you can go ahead and use this environment variable, next public collection, plug it in here, and you can grab the contract address for that collection. Like if I wanted to use honeys, I can put that in here. This is the contract address for the honeys token, and that'll be that. But maybe asking, well, how did honeys set it up so that way they have all 6 collections that they wanted to highlight? Well, there's this really, really handy tool that allows you to do that. And instead of public collection, we're going to be using next public set ID. And again, all in the documentation here, all linked up for you, all super easy to find. There's this really handy tool that allows you to basically say, hey, I don't want to just work with one specific collection. I want to include multiple collections. So like when Honeys went ahead and did this, we said, okay, well, hey, we have, here's the Honeys 10K collection. And, Polygon scan. I want to talk Honey seasons. Just quickly grab the contract address here. Well, that's actually probably a bad example because we're on Ethereum only. But if I want to talk, let's talk about Hoop merch. I can grab that token address right here. And let's do Stacy's. Okay. So now I have the Honeys 10K token address here, Hoop merch, and the Stacy's collection. And so now I have these 3 different collections that I want to be able to highlight, and I'm going to hit try it. And right down here, it's going to show me, hey, this is the set, the collection set, not just a single collection, but the whole set ID that you want to use. So I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to say, again, instead of just next public collection, I want to use next public collection set ID. So now it's going to have all 3 of those. Okay, we're almost done. We are almost through this checklist. Now, so now I have my marketplace is live. We could fill in a couple more of these environment variables, but we'll talk about the end with additional customization options. But so you have your site is live. Now it's connected to these different services that are going to help aggregate all of the information. You have the collections that you want to be able to highlight. So all of your most important environment variables are set. And so I'm going to say, plug it in for all modes here. I'm going to hit save. And so now all my environment variables are set. There is one last step that I have to check out, which is basically anytime that you go ahead and make changes in this way, all you have to really do is go into Vercel and basically say, hey, let's you're effectively hitting the refresh button. You're saying, let's redeploy this bad boy. Everything you just did 15 minutes ago, let's hit that one last time. So that way you have all the latest information. Again, this will take maybe a minute and a half or so. So I'm happy to take any questions, take a breather, allow the booth to say anything that maybe I glanced over, or make any comments on things that I may have missed. I don't know if anybody has a word. Sounds
Doing
like
great.
not.
You're doing great. So far, so good.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah, it was interesting, like, how easy it was to prepare the different variables, and I'm, like, curious if, like, more of those will become available over time, and it'll just be, like, a cool, easy way to add different, like, functionalities and things to your
Yeah, absolutely.
marketplace.
Absolutely. And so, like, that's one of the coolest things about how this is all set up is, like, even looking at this list here, like, this might seem like a lot of variables to keep track of. But once you actually like start getting further and further into the customization, and actually once you start digging into the code itself, you'll find there are, twice, if not 3 times as many variables that are ready to go. You just have to plug in the value for them to say, hey, if you're looking for a primary font, I want to use this font. If you're looking for a primary background color, I want to use this color. And so there are tons and tons of them that, even if you can't get to the full extent of the customization of the marketplace you want with 0 code, you can get there pretty easily with, maybe 10 minutes or an exploratory phase of, hey, I want to take a look at this code and, update a few things. There's really not much that you have to do in order to customize this stuff the way you like it. And so, like, even stuff like all of the social sharing images, like if I go to share buy.honeys.io right now on Twitter or in Discord, it's going to show up with the honeys, the classic honeys 10K like backdrop with like the 10 or 12 honeys that are there in the different colors. That is a value in environment variable. You can just set it. You can say, hey, like this environment variable here is for the meta image, OG image. Here's a link to it, and again, automatically like it does that for you. You don't have to go through and actually find like, okay, well, like where I don't have to go into the index page or the app page and find the head and actually like one by one update all of this metadata. Like most of this stuff is really just plug and play, which is super fun. Oops,
Yeah,
closed my tab there.
I think my favorite thing about it is like the way that it aggregates your content, because like it really has been a struggle for us this whole time to like uh show all the different collections that we own, and like in the OpenSea interface they're just linked in text like above the collection, and it's so messy and like not clean. But with this, we've got them all in one place. It's super easy for everyone to find, and we can even, like you said, display what the difference is between each one, which is just totally something that can get overlooked on the other marketplaces. And it really just creates like a very branded, customized experience, I think, for users, which is really cool. And I like it.
Absolutely. And so that like 2 minutes ago we hit in Vercel we told it to redeploy. Again, that's more or less like hitting a refresh button and saying like, hey, like take a look at the newest variables that I set and let's launch this thing one more time. And it'll give me my different links that I can view at. I can just hit the visit button and look at that. It's got all 3 collections right here. They're all in the drop down. I can click through them and you're going to see a lot of the same stuff that you see at buy.honeys.io, just with maybe, some different colors here and there and some different fonts. Like all this stuff is pretty much plug and play, like I said, and I cannot stress enough how easy it is. I know I'm like bordering on infomercial mode here, but really like it's pretty astounding when you think that for something that seems like there are so many things going on and so many places to pull from and so many variables and so many different marketplaces and like is this thing going to transfer over here, and like it really is just like you didn't see me pull up a terminal window, you didn't see me pull up a code editor. I'm not pulling up Visual Studio over here. Like I just right from Vercel and a handful of other services, just copied and pasted a couple things that I wanted, and just like that, we have our Honey's collections here. Some of the really nice things about this service that I like, or about the code based template, I guess, that I like, is it takes care of the house cleaning things that VS Code. I'm more of an Atom man myself, which is not actually. One of the really nice things that I love about this is it's got like a lot of the house cleaning things that might not seem like a big deal, but they are totally a big deal. The biggest being, what is the wallet connect button situation like? It is it's been getting better in the last, I don't know, 6 months or so, but like it can still be a problem at times, and it has been a problem historically to go, Oh, like, does your website only support MetaMask? Like, I have a Coinbase wallet or I use Ledger. Like, is that going to work? Um, and all of which are totally understandable concerns. Right out of the box, if I hit this button, blammo. Again, I'm bringing back blammo from earlier because I like blammo. You got Rainbow, Coinbase Wallet, MetaMask, Wallet Connect, and of course, Wallet Connect is what allows you to just do infinitely more, allow access for infinitely more wallets like Ledger, like tools like Xerion, Crypto.com. So basically, anybody that runs into your website that is even remotely familiar with Web3 and has some type of a wallet, they're going to be automatically taken care of. Thank you to Rainbow Kit here, which sets all of that up. Which again, you didn't see me. You didn't see me set up Rainbow Kit. You didn't see me have to mess with any code around that. It's just already out of the box for you, and it's going to be there up in the top right. It's also going to be here. If I click sweep, I'm not connected. It's going to be here. I click buy now. It's going to be here in the individual listing. It's in all the right places. Everything is honestly set up for you, and it's so sick. And I can't stop getting excited about it. So it's pretty sweet that, you know, again, I know we expanded on a few topics here and there, but when it comes down to the actual legitimate work that went into building this, what did that take? Maybe 10 minutes to actually do that. And there are a handful of other things we can do, like, you know, look at the color, like primary colors, and if we want dark mode or light mode and things like that. All of these things are available in just through simple copy and paste, and you know, your environment variables here and things like that. So the final thing here on the checklist is, if you are that person that wants to be over ambitious, if you want to take that leap, and I promise you it's fun, if you want to take this marketplace and play around with it a little bit and just customize it just a little bit to end up with something a little bit closer, something like this, there's an extra credit checkbox right here for you that you can hit that says, you know, you've at least attempted to start to customize the code on your own. You've actually cloned that repo. You've actually started the development process. And, you know, I know that personally, now I don't know if I'll be of much help, but I am personally making myself available to anybody that has questions. You probably want to talk to somebody like Flick, but when he's busy and he's got too much going on, I will attempt to answer your questions as well as I know that we have many other gifted, talented developers in the Honeys community, but I really encourage you to take this extra credit step to take that next journey into your own marketplace. Really get it down to the actual branding, you know, speak to your actual community, cater to them, you know, update the code that tells them, update the HTML that tells them, you know, what your brand is all about, what kind of benefits people get. Really speak to your audience, and yeah, I hope you have a lot of fun with this. I hope that it's been refreshing and enlightening to see just how quick and easy it is to get up and running. And happy to answer any questions in the meantime, if there are any now.
Yeah, and I'll just like to add as well that because this marketplace is built on top of Vercel, and Next.js for the front end. It uses React. These are all very modern tool chains and frameworks for building websites. Besides all this level of customizations, I mean, if you wanted, you can use this as a template for like a whole homepage. It doesn't have to just be a marketplace. You can just start adding other pages that you want. You can go and add all sorts of things to the web page as well, and really have it fully integrated in with the marketplace as well.
Yeah,
And you're ready to
absolutely.
take that extra credit step. The
Yeah, totally.
extra credit.
Extra credit. Yeah, and it sounds like Brookhawk is kind of asking a question in that in a similar vein, getting at sort of what you're talking about and being able to play with other marketplaces and things. Um
Yeah. And to
uh
answer Brooke's question as well, so if you list it with the reservoir option, well, so there are some things listed, or at least there were. I don't know if they've all been. I know like some of my lists. I don't know that a lot of people have listed. Like I listed things just like on reservoir. I think a lot of the hoop scouts all got swept already, and some of my honeys already got swept as well. But they'll show up on the marketplace with the honeys icon when you have a listing that's only or that's available on the reservoir marketplace.
yeah.
There used to be, I'm not sure why they took it out, but in earlier versions of the reservoir tool marketplace, there used to be a check mark that you could check, and it would only show the listings that were made directly on the marketplace. They've taken that out. I don't know why. I kind of liked it, but they are there. You can do it, and I know it works because I've already made several sales.
Yeah, and so two things, Flick. Well, one of them is really more for Brookhawk. Um just in case you're still looking at the screen, Brookhawk, I currently have pulled up kind of a visual representation of an answer for your question where, I currently on the honeys market am prepping to list a honey, and by default, this will actually probably be good information for everybody. Let's talk about just the default settings. The default settings are it will only be listed on Reservoir, of which there is no fee that Reservoir takes. If I want to, I can additionally list on OpenSea and Looks Rare, which does get me more visibility. But again, I'm kind of beholden to those different fees that are there. Now, if I want to actually customize this, like let's say you go extra credit, and you make this the dopest marketplace ever, and you customize everything and you make it truly like a one-stop shop, and everything, and you wish to include something like a your own sort of marketplace fee in here, you are able to do that. Again, environment variable, mostly just copy and paste, where you can say, hey, anytime a sale occurs on this marketplace, I want it for this percentage, and I want it to go to this wallet, or this address. And so you are able to customize this. Again, it's mostly just copy and paste through environment variables, which is one of the sweet things about this whole marketplace. And then Flick, real quick, Brookhawk says, so you're trusting Reservoir contract at that point. You have to set approval to allow access to and transfer all of your honeys. No, I don't believe so. And Flick can probably speak to this better. But I think this
Yeah,
gets back to the Seaport conversation we had, correct?
correct. So if you've already approved your honeys on Seaport, specifically the latest version of Seaport, because there are multiple versions, then you should not need to do another approval just for Reservoir. And it's rather unfortunate. Like, I know, like, it does sound really scary, and honestly, it is. There's no granularity for approvals on NFT contracts. There's only one kind of approval, and it's set approve all. So you either approve a contract or address to be able to transfer all of your NFTs for a particular contract, or it's false. It's either true or false. But you should only, if you list on LooksRare, it will ask you to set the approval for the LooksRare marketplace contract, which is different than Seaport. But you shouldn't need to do more than 2 approvals if you're listing on all 3 of these separate marketplaces, one on Seaport and one on LooksRare. And I just wanted to talk a little bit about the creator fees or royalties, depending on who you ask. But Reservoir Tools enforces royalties. So if you list here on OpenSea, it adds royalties. So it doesn't even give you an option not to. And as you can tell, that I assume that they're going to update it in soon-ish to update the fees, because right now they're also handing over 2.5% to OpenSea, which could be 0. Hopefully that gets fixed soon, because right now if you're listing here, you are in fact giving 2.5% to OpenSea, but also it is adding the full royalties to all of the bids. And in addition, Reservoir Tools recently announced a change that they're making, which I don't believe has rolled out yet, but we should be seeing soon. They're actually making it so that if you're shopping through the Reservoir Tools interface and you buy from a marketplace that's not supporting the full royalties, when you buy it through the marketplace, it'll just add the royalties onto the order. So you it's all seamless. Like, you don't even notice. You just see you just happen to see a price that's a little bit bigger than you might see on OpenSea or LooksRare, because Reservoir Tools is just adding the royalties for you. So Reservoir Tools is very royalty and creator fees friendly, and they're trying to do everything they can to make sure that creators are getting their bit.
Yeah, thank you for that context. Yeah, Reservoir Tools. Personally, I've really only become truly familiar with them in the last like 3 or 4 days, and I know that number one, they've made this whole project super easy to work with. Can't say that enough. They have a great starting template. I love their approach in this space and what they're doing, and genuinely, like, everything. Like, I know that the demo we walked through to help get you started maybe took like 10 minutes or so. This Honey's Marketplace, obviously a bit more customization. Had to hit the code a little bit. You're talking like a day and a half. We had this whole thing listed, or excuse me, this whole thing deployed. So they make it super easy. Plus, I've reached out to their support team for something earlier today, and they were back with me in maybe 10 minutes and got me the answer that I need. So can't say enough good things about Reservoir Tools. Flick, I wanted to ask you one last question about them, and if this is too big of a conversation, feel free to say so, and we can move it aside. But everything that we've done here today is on what Reservoir Tool calls V1 of their marketplace. Have you had a chance to explore V2 at all, or do you know anything more about like what the promise of Reservoir Tool Marketplace V2 is?
I do not, but I kind of thought that their V2 was more in regards to their API tooling, which is the API that the marketplace is built on top of. And this is the part of their offering that's aimed at automated traders,
Got it.
so people running bots.
Okay. Cool.
Scuzzrat was also asking when transfers on the marketplace. Do you guys have any feel for like if that may become an option?
Yeah, I don't know when that might be available. That is certainly a thing that could be built. But when I get a chance, I'll make sure I bring it up to the Reservoir Tools team as a feature request. Now, again, anyone with the necessary skills can, of course, add it themselves. But we have to realize that they are in fact giving away all this tooling for free, with a rather generous free tier on their API. Presumably, at some point in the future, they could start charging for access to their API. There is like sort of that thing to consider. Um, but that's just startups doing startup things.
Sure. They're disrupting,
Exactly.
and I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing is like because there are definitely those different there's a handful of things that some places do that this marketplace uh you know you have to be prepared that it's not going to do. Like number one, um and when I say that, I mean like the out of the box solution, like what we presented here today. Like right now, this marketplace that we built, both for Honeys as it stands and the demo today, that is currently a one chain solution. It's currently only catering to contracts on Ethereum. So for Honeys specifically, that means that the Honey Seasons collection is not tradable yet on this market. It's not to say that you can't find your way into a multi-chain solution. It's just, of course, going to take a little bit more time, a little bit more customization, a little bit more know-how. I had there's one other thing. Oh, yeah. The other thing I was going to say was, yes, it would be awesome if transfers were available. Currently, transferring is not something that is, again, out of the box available. But what I will say is, in the vein of, in the spirit rather of open source software, and which is how we got our start today. We say it with me, chat. We forked the repository. We got forked, or we forked them rather. There are over 200 different forks. Over 200 different people have forked this marketplace. Reservoir Tools got forked over 200 times in a reasonable amount of time. It's very possible that if you check out some of these different projects that people are creating based off of those forks, that somebody has what you're looking for. And that's the beauty of open source software, is we all build together, we all learn together, we all share with each other, we all grow and win together. And that's really what it's all about. That's why we do Funny University. That's why we love operating Web3. That is why we're here today, is not just to give Rat Benatar an excuse to talk on the mic and hang out with his friends in the booth, but to genuinely, like in all seriousness, to be able to share this stuff with you, because it's our hope that you are able to take this and do something meaningful with it, and or teach us something. Like, we want to learn from you too. Like, if you have suggestions, if you have things that you want to add, if you have things you figured out that we haven't figured out, like, that collaboration is what it's all about. And that's why we do things like Bunny University. That is why we make these step-by-step checklists for you, so that way you can get a certificate of completion, so that you can put it on your Web3 resume. That is why we have people like Flick, who joined us so generously today in the booth as a guest professor. Definitely the smartest person in the booth, without question. I don't think Stacy's will disagree with me on that. It's been an absolute pleasure being able to have Flick here to answer our questions. And Flick also, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, was also genuinely the inspiration for being able to get started on this project in the first place. If it weren't for Flick tipping us off and actually creating version 1 of the Honey's custom marketplace himself, then we wouldn't have the marketplace that we have today, and we wouldn't have had this Bunny University. So definitely throw some hoops in the chat for Flick. Tell him he's smart. Tell him he's handsome. Tell him he's sexy. Do it all just to say thank you. And yeah, thank you, Flick. Thank you, Stacy's, for joining me in the booth. It's been a super fun Bunny University. Do you have any parting thoughts for the class before we say class dismissed?
Thank you, Rat.
You are welcome. Thank you.
I'm at a few words, but powerful words. Yeah, thank you for this class. I know it took a lot of work and preparation from you guys, so we really, really appreciate that. And I am very excited to see what you all can do with this. Let's never forget through everything that happens that the real, passion that most of us are here is just improving decentralization and opportunities for all. And that's what we're here to do. So thank you for helping us promote those important values.
Absolutely. Well said. Thank you, chat, for all your questions. Again, the documentation for this whole class will be available in Discord. We will share it on Twitter within a few minutes after we cut stream here. Definitely big thanks to Flick. Big thanks to Stacy's. Thanks to chat. Thanks to everybody. This has been a blast. And it's been so nice hearing all of the kind remarks about the new marketplace, and just everybody's support. And we love y'all. So thank you for being here with us, for spreading the message. Definitely big hearts. I know Flick's PFP is making the heart hands. We just can't see it because it's not captured on screen, but we know that they're there. So thank you, everybody. Hope you have a good night. Talk to you real soon. Keep an eye out in Discord and Twitter. And class dismissed. Have a good rest of your evening.